So we're back to the naze configuration screen in base flight, and as I said, we want to look at the receiver tab. So, oh, look at that, fantastic. We've got communication happening on the receiver, and the reason I know it is because one, the numbers are fluctuating and not all the channels are set to 1500. Now, the important aspect here is what you want to do is set your trims so that when you move and recenter everything, it's set back to 1500. As you know, all your digital transmitters have profiles, and each profile is unique, so any of the trim settings that you apply are only set for that one
trim center,
one profile. So I'm just using the trim to set, in this case it's the roll, so, and we need to set it as close to 1500 as possible. And the other thing we want is we want to set it reasonably close to 1000 and 2000. So I'll need to go into the endpoint adjustments and play around with those, but 1002 is alright. I'll just drop 2006 back later. Let's look at the pitch. So the pitch is not really centering very well, so we'll just bring the trim back to a little bit. So 1501, that's not bad. Just give it a flick.
Trim center.
There we go, trim center. See if we can actually hit 1500. Yeah, I didn't think it would do that. Oh, look, I'm pretty happy with that. It's 1501. That's pretty good. Okay, yaw. It's kind of out, so we'll just bring it
trim center.
Bring it over a little bit. That's not bad. Let's give it a little jerk. All I'm doing is just basically letting it recenter, and we can see that it's jotting back. And throttle, so we see we've got 1002 all the way up to 1970, and of course you'll remember that we set 1068 as our min throttle, and we also set 2000 as our maximum throttle. Auxiliary 1,
attitude mode.
So I'm using voiceovers from the CC3D world, but
attitude mode, rate mode.
Rate mode is rate mode.
Attitude mode.
Attitude mode is the equivalent of horizon.
Attitude mode.
Attitude mode is the equivalent of attitude, I believe, in Naze world. And they're the only three outputs that I need. Some of the other little configuration windows that we need to look at on this screen is throttle midpoint, so I leave that at 0.5. RC rates, this basically is how unstable the aircraft is. So when you want to flip the aircraft, you'll probably need to up this well over 1. In this case, what I'm going to do is I default myself to about 1.2. I'm just going to keep 1.2 for this quad. And RC Expo, you can do expos in two places, one in your transmitter and one here, which gets applied to all axis. Now, flight test, and one of my mates told me this, said that it's better to do your expos on the naze board because the resolution you receive out of the naze board is far better than what you get out of your transmitter. So what it's saying is if you put a expo of say 40%, the point between the center and say the first increment is made bigger. So in other words, from 0 to 10% is stretched from this point to this point. So there's not much resolution within the center stick, whereas with the naze board you still get all of those incremental points, but it's just moved to another point. So that's something to play with. I'm not going to do it for the Maiden. I'm going to set this RC Expo to 0, but I will remove all my expo later in my transmitter and set this back to probably about 40% expo, and we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see the difference and see if I can feel any output, but I'll only do it from a position that I know. And of course we'll just go off and save that because you need to do that. Interestingly, this is where they've set the channel mapping, so we set that before as well. It's aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, channels 1, 2, 3 and 4. And they've got some defaults, but you can actually set them to be whatever you want. And one more tab that we need to look at is the mode selection tab. This is related to how you set up your flying. So previously I moved those the 3 position switch,
mode, read mode.
and you'll see it out of auxiliary 1 we go from low to medium to high.
Latitude mode, rate mode.
Now rate mode in the nose wheel means do not tick anything, and that's the position that I want rate mode to be in. So by default when I turn the transmitter on, I'm in rate mode. The next position I want
Latitude mode
is latitude, or as I said, is horizon mode. So it's as simple as we'll go and select horizon mode. So horizon, done. And the last one is
attitude mode.
Angle mode or attitude mode in the CC3D world. So sorry to confuse people with the output of what it's saying. We'll save that. And now we see that we've got, with the 3 position switch set in the bottom position, we've got angle mode selected. We'll flick it up one,
Latitude mode,
and it moves to horizon mode,
rate mode.
right up to rate mode, and once again everything goes red, and this bank is nothing selected, so by default we do rate. Simple as that. And theoretically that's all I do for setting up the nose board, without coming back and doing more PID tuning. I think it's time that we go through the ESC calibration. I've got on the nose 32 on my website a calibration set of steps, and we'll just follow this just so that yeah, we can calibrate the ESCs accordingly. So it says plug in the USB, which is already done. We don't need any external power for this at this point. And we'll go to the CLI on the base flight. So I'll just quickly swap over. So I'm already set up on base flight in the CLI mode. Then it says enter the command set min command 2000. So we'll just copy that and switch back over to base flight. We'll paste that in if it ever wants to do it. This computer's running a little bit slow today. Okay, there we go, set min command 2000. So we'll enter that and save it. And we see that it is rebooting the nose board. So I just click out of it to somewhere like setup or configuration, and it'll tell us when it's back up. Okay, here we go. Configuration. So we can just check that. Min command set to 2000. Perfect. Let's go back to the CLI. Next, what we'll need to do is set min command to 1000. It says don't hit enter yet. We plug in the flight batteries, we listen for the beeps, and then when the beeps go into calibration mode, we'll set the 1000 again by hitting enter and hitting save. And we should get another set of beeps, so let's do that. So just change that to 1000. Sorry about that. Save. We'll get ready to do that. I'll just show you this part of the procedure. So we need to plug it in. Okay, we hear that it's gone into calibration mode. I'll just hit enter. That's now saved, and we've heard the second set of beeps to show that it's been programmed. That's it. Simple as that to calibrate all your 4 ESCs at once. One of the next things that we should do is check the motor direction and that we've wired them correctly. The configuration page supplies you, as I said, the motor direction and the motor number. So it's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if we go to the motor testing, there's a checkbox here which enables you to drive the motors from these sliders. So if I was to increase, by the way, I've plugged in the battery already, so if I was to slide this up, we would hear motor number 1 spin. Perfect. And I see that it's spinning in the right direction. So let's do motor number 1 again. And we see that it's spinning this direction, which is correct. Motor number 2. That's perfect as well. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 of course, and this one is spinning in this direction. Perfect. Motor number 3. Yep, that's spinning correctly. And motor number 4. It's also spinning in the right direction. So just for your information, I hadn't had these connected. I just like putting them on nice and loose, and the friction shows me the direction of spin, so it's easier to sort of visualize everything. And I know I've got the right props on the right motors as well. Well, we have a really nice day for trying to do a Maiden. The wind is virtually 0, and so I'll just run through the procedure of what I do prior to checking a new aircraft out before I take it for a Maiden. Alright, so I've plugged her in, and I think it's key to test that it feels right. So we'll turn it on, and what I'll do is I'll rock it left and right, and I would like to see, as I rock it to the right, that the system pushes it back up, and to the left, that the system pushes it back up again, and same for forward and back. So let's just try that. It's armed, a little bit of throttle, not much. Excellent, seems to be doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you, I found a fault. The quad oscillates like you wouldn't believe, and I know why. I'll just show you this. So you could see there that the motor is really wobbling around. So this is my fault. I didn't even think about it. Let's just disarm this so it's safe. The legs on this machine are 3mm. They're just far too thin for these type of motors. So what's happening is, as I'm revving, the motor's up, it's bending the legs. Silly thing that I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to laminate 2 of these 3mm pieces together. So I need to cut out another 4 of these legs, laminate them together, change the standoffs, and that should fix the problem. It'll make these legs really rigid then, and I'll just have to bolt these legs together so that you know, I think I'm actually going to have to bolt and probably glue them together so that you know, they become one rigid piece. So I'll go ahead and do the modifications. I mean, you know, this is part and parcel, I suppose, sometimes of designing quads, but it's definitely a fundamental mistake that I just went with a 3mm leg. Quads this size need at least 5 to 6mm legs, so I'll go ahead and do the work necessary, and yeah, we'll just retry the Maiden again, because it was just unflyable the way that it oscillated. Just a quick update on what I've done. I went ahead and cut some more, another 4 legs actually to be precise, and what I've done is gone and laminated them together so it becomes a 6mm plate. As you can see here, there's the 2 laminations, and to make sure I got good adhesion, I sanded the inside of the leg on both of these sides, put some epoxy on there, 30 minutes, and I've rubbed them together to form a really nice solid joint. I then went and used the screw holes that we've got as part of a clamping mech, and I put some other clamps in these two positions here to give them a good surface to bond to, and I think that it's come out very nicely. This is definitely solid and it won't vibrate like it did previously. I'll just go and refit it all together and get it ready for the second Maiden. Okay, let's do a quick Maiden outside.